Oh, hello. It's a BioRatOriUm event number 9. I'm Vladimir Kai, Russian biohacker from Belgium. I'm living and working in Belgium, just like Karl Marx used to hide here. So it's 5 minutes before the New Year. I've decided to make such a wonderful New Year party, making BioRatOriUm event number 9. So it's still 5 minutes. Well, you see that those sand is 5 minutes things. Very soon we are moving to year number 22. And what I'm going to tell, like in previous event, BioRatOriUm number 8, suddenly I stopped making names for this. This is becoming numbers. I promised you something unusual, something about our beloved virus, about vaccination. So it's going to be a long video. First I will do the content of the video, which is normally in the end, just in the beginning. For the new year, when the moment will come. Yeah, it's here, it's here, it's here. It's soon, it's soon, it's soon. Yeah, it's 3 minutes here. For the new year. What I'm going to do now, I promise you genetically modified tobacco, which is a very special one. It has relations to the virus. And I'm going to eat it just directly into the camera. So I'm not a cheater. I make genetically modified tobacco and I test it on myself. Holy Aron Treivik. I will tell you a story later with Aron Treivik, how we negotiating before he died just in the middle of negotiations. Well, okay, so here is the plant. Here is the plant. That's my tobacco plant, genetically modified. It's a number 13, you can see it, Vladi PVK 013. By chance it happens, I didn't plant it. And I already had a bottle of nice Moldovan wine from Moldova. One friend sent it to me. Every year he sends me from Moldova. It's called Dream. Heavens Can't Wait. Nice wine, I recommend. But difficult to find. Yeah, most likely you cannot find it. And New Year I will take with that gift from Budapest, from a friend in Hungary, who is, I have strange friends really all over the world. Tokai for mint. Very good. I know, isn't it right? Okay, so let's do it simple. Genetically modified tobacco plant. That's meant to be a vaccine, but very special, totally different vaccine. I will explain later after New Year. Yeah, here is the leaf. Yeah, leaf. Do we have it? New Year. Do we have New Year? Yes. 1 minute. And for the New Year, I'm going to try it on myself. Oh, yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah, so something happening there. Happy New Year. Tobacco, actually a very bad taste. It's not a salad plant. Really a very, very bad taste. Enormously bad taste. Let's put it here. And but I spent 9 months to come to that point, from scratch, from idea, and yeah, I like it. So of course it can be whatever effects I experience, it can be placebo effects. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so we are moving into better mood for the narrative. It's called Lights of Life. Because of those things I can connect to another reality and I can see the future pretty easily. And I'm going to take, New Year, Happy New Year. That's the pleasure of doing things enough stand here. Yeah, online. Normally it's supposed to happen in Brussels. But well, ferment, Tokai, dry, Happy New Year. Mwah. And something sweet. Mm. 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 It's also special. It's my name on it, Vladimir. Wow. Pardon. Everything I do, I got my invention down to my throat, so I hope I'm not going to die. Actually, very little opportunity because people doing vaccination, they get the same protein in the blood and they don't die. So why should I die by eating the COVID positive tobacco? No way. The question is it going to work? And what's all about? So after we finished the most important part for the new year, exactly, sacral time, I can do another one, but you know it's too small. You know it's really it's too small yet. It's like well I can cut more. It's better to do it next day. So what's about that tobacco? About 9 months ago, actually 1 year ago, I started to get fed up with all that propaganda machine around those mass vaccination. It's not that I'm against of it, it's just I'm fed up, you know, like okay, do it for yourself and don't ask me to do it. Why should I be a part of that madness? So I don't understand. I have education, I have knowledge, I worked with those immunologists so long time. And that has nothing to do with what they're talking about and all those textbook stuff. So I decided one moment, because I was originally totally against vaccination, and the second point, from the first moment I saw the genetic code of the virus, I told everyone like, okay, look at this. It's just like I did it. It's perfectly artificial, but because it's so obvious, it's very clear that it was not intended. It was leak from the lab. No one expected it. That I accept perfectly well. It's possible. It happens in science a lot, and most of the time there is no problem. And somehow with this one, the problem happened because a lot of people was already telling prophecies. 5 years before this one happened, there was a lot of prophecies from professional scientific milieu that is going to happen. What they're doing is unacceptable, it's impossible, like maybe better not to do it, but well, somehow money was flowing, things was forbidden in the United States, the money moved to Wuhan in China, and then, I don't know, that's the result. Somehow somebody wanted it very badly to be done, that kind of new vector, new virus. And to my eye, it was not really a vaccine. In the beginning, it was really funny because of what I saw about that virus, it's already vaccine. It's just not a really good vaccine, but it's already vaccine. Like, how can you make vaccine against the vaccine? Ha. Okay. It's like modernists, you know. It's like a painter painting of another painter, you know. Yeah. Manet. Yeah. Why not? Cézanne. Is it better than original? Sure, can be better. Not really different. It's still modernism. So I came with a simple idea. like, what can I do? Is it still filming? Okay. What can I do? Ah, by the way, the filming happens on the 3D camera. So if you want to see it really, to sit next to me, like I see your camera here, and watch it in full 3D, full glory, like you are visiting my apartment in Ghent, then you need to this thing. It's called Oculus 2. It's a kind of VR reality artificial. I like it. I'm really very modern with everything, whatever things going on, even with vaccines, but not for me. I don't mind to try to test vaccines on people, but not on me. I'm too much. But with this one, I like it. I like when they test it on me. Those ha 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 ha. In fact, you can use also hands. It's super machine. Recommend everyone. So you can see me in that super machine as I am totally real, totally 3D, and so on. But you need to go on YouTube VR. So what the idea was, in the very beginning, I started to think like, what can I do about vaccines? And then I came there, I started to think about it, and those viruses, they're very special. If you look at the physiology of those bats, they are, what they're doing, they actually shut down the immune response to those viruses. And in humans, we normally don't do it, but we're also doing it. It also exists such kind of response. I would like to explain you that immune response is never like positive and negative. There's always positive, but in one case it ends up with antibodies or whatever else positive response, but with another case, which is called negative immune response, it ends up with brakes, with their, it's like a car, you know, you have acceleration, brakes, yeah, and immune system works like this. It's also active immune response that prevents immune response from making antibodies or making cells who react on antigen. It's called tolerance. So we have adaptive immune response in two branches. One is proactive, making arms against the pathogens, and another one is not active. It's a tolerance. It's not paying attention on the enemies. And with coronavirus, we can see very clearly from clinical data that the major enemy is our own immune system. That's who damaged our body, not the virus. It's our immune system who do all the damage. So the very simple idea, yeah? Like, why not to make a vaccine or whatever, it's difficult to call it vaccine, that will cancel immune response. So the virus comes in, it sits there, it do whatever producing, nothing there. Really, it's in terms of energy and amount of things that it needs. It's really nothing. We can keep feeding the hundreds of those viruses unless we are without food. Yeah. That is becoming a problem. But why not? Why not? Why not just to cancel immune response? That's the most crazy idea that came to my mind. So I decided to make it disruptive. Like, okay, disruptive way. Let's do something totally opposite to Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson Johnson, Sputnik, and whatever. Let's make a vaccine that induces tolerance against the virus. So then you don't see virus. You don't see virus, you don't have problems. Ooh, simple idea. Why? Total heresy. It's a total heresy, you know. In the Middle Ages, people like me would be burned on the fire for such ideas. That's true. Until now, it's basically the same. A little bit more civilized, but basically it's the same. And mm, no, of course, I don't have financing. I don't have money. I just spend the free time to make the construction, and I need to fit it in 3,000 base pairs because after 3,000, 2001, the price going up. It's you can check on my Patreon. I put there the whole sequence. It's available. I have no secrets. What I did and what sits in that tobacco. So it basically contains a half of spike protein from virus that is used most of those vaccines, also RNA vaccines, and another part is the nucleocapsid protein, which is not normally used in the vaccines. I don't know any vaccine based on nucleocapsid. So I combine those two things in one big protein, and then I need to cut off like 100 amino acids from the N-terminal, which is the good idea really. Just because of the constraint in the money, I need to cut out that 100 amino acids, and that's actually a very bad part of the protein. Now it's known that the most of negative antibodies, the bad antibodies that spike produce in the human body, they are N-terminal domain. Well, I removed 100 amino acids from there. I added there Vladimir Kai in the beginning, just to be sure. No questions asked if something happened, a new epidemic, whatever. There's someone to look for, you know. It's written directly in the code where to look for me. And there's no way to explain it by, oh, it's natural. I will laugh. I will laugh a lot when the people start to explain, oh, it's a natural. Vladimir is lying. No, Vladimir Kai. It's a natural. It's just a peptide like this. It's possible. Yeah. Fine. I will enjoy it. I will support it. It's a natural. Of course, it's natural. Everything is natural. In genetic engineering, yeah. Whatever we are doing, everything is natural. So, yeah. So I make a construction, and then there was a question of financing. Like I already reduced it to minimum financing, but it's still quite a money, you know, to order it. And the university was not really relaxed about that because, yeah, I'm working for pre-university, and yeah, it's quite a substantial amount of money to synthesize the gene. So I was talking about it on Facebook with the friends. There. Suddenly someone came there. We have very nice, a lot of conversations. I give a lot of advice, consulting about all those stupid companies, biotech companies, who are cheating people by promising something unreal. So finally he told me like, okay, what you want to do? I say, yes, I have a project, crazy project that I really would like to do, but I don't have any opportunity to do it. Because, well, we need to pay for that synthesis, synthetic gene. And he told me, it's no problem. Open, open, open the account in Bitcoins, the wallet, and that's it. I said, okay. I open the account. In 10 minutes I got the financing. That covered all the expenses. And actually even much more than this. Because Bitcoin started to grow. It was in the old time. No, pretty much was enormously inspired and motivated with that sort of financing from the sky falling on me. Well, actually, I was thinking maybe Pfizer actually is doing it through some other person because they are not that far from here, and I know people from Pfizer. So they're interested in what I'm doing. So okay, well, but it's not Pfizer. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah, and I started to work. I immediately ordered the gene, and in 1 month it took from General Biosystems to make it. It's quite time, And then I cloned it into my vector, my special vector, and put it in agrobacterium, transformed plant, and nothing was working. Actually, I was starting to get problems from the beginning. It was not cloning. It was not doing that. 3 times cloning, but finally got one clone. Of course, I need to sequence it because, well, other way around, it doesn't look like real. Well, that one was okay. Everything was fine there. And then I need to move to the agrobacterium to put it into the plant and transform tobacco. Uh, 3 times I tried it. 3 times it was like a plenty of clones, but they're not positive. The whole thing is that I can see the positive clones directly. Because that whole construction from a virus is fused with GFP. And in between there is one picornaviral protein, 20 amino acids, that gets cut during their synthesis. So first the big protein, 1,000 amino acids came out of the RNA, and then when that peptide comes out, it cuts itself, so it's separated, but synthesis continuing and GFP appearing, which is in the end. It's a marker, it's an indicator. And if I see that GFP, that means that first part is also produced. So if I see something positive, some callus and plants, I know for sure that my protein, my construction is active. It's working. Because it's not always. I saw plenty of positive clones which are not showing any green fluorescence on microscope. Really, yeah, it was plenty of those constructions, but one was a little bit special. And it's 3 times I did it, 3 times. It's a lot of time every time. It's at least 2 weeks you start to see something. 3, 4, yeah. And then I saw one cows. Finally, wow, it's going. And then I take it out. I cut it into pieces, put on new plate, whatever, and it started, and then, bam, contamination. Everything is in fungus, and if fungus there, you cannot do anything. Just throw it away. Start again. But I spent so much time getting this to this point. So I just throw that everything with that fungus into the soil. Because fungus, when it gets into the soil, it loses interest to the plants. It starts to live its own life. It's not interesting in plants anymore. And yeah, one plant survived. This is this one. And it's positive. It was positive. And when it's growing, it was not really very clear positive in the beginning, but when it starts to grow, it's pure intuition. I feel it's positive. It must be something different from others. A little bit different, but I see intuitively that it's the right one. Just like John the Baptist, yeah, saw the Christ. And I found it. And it was started to grow, almost dead, half dead. And insects came, those aphids, blood sucking, trying to kill it. I was cleaning it like a baby with my fingers. And it it was extremely slow growing plant in the beginning. Apparently that spike protein and nucleocapsid, my construction, is not really good for the plants. But well, with the time it gets used to it. And now we see it. Look, it's quite okay. Now it goes. And it has a double head, like a double head. It shows that there is a problems with development. It's actually 2 plants in one. I saw it also with THC. When I tried to express THC synthase in tobacco, I've got the same problem. It's pretty toxic gene. And that spike showing just the same pattern, but much less. It's not as toxic as THC. It's fine. yeah, that's it. Um, Mama. Mama. It took me a long time, 9 months, like a baby, but now I have a plant which is producing COVID proteins, a very special combination with spike and nucleocapsid, whole nucleocapsid there, and first half of spike, and my signature, Vladimir Kai, in the beginning. Spike goes until that pra site, PRA, very famous one, which is actually showing that it's an artificial virus. And yeah, now I'm testing it. I'm testing it on myself. I'm testing it like a biohacker, creating an anecdotal evidence. How does it work? What can we do with this? Like, no, first of all, just by eating the plant, I can show that I'm still alive, so the plant is not toxic. At least it's not killing people immediately. Uh, Actually, I already eat one before, so I know that I'm not going to be killed. But the first one was really a very, very tense moment. Yeah. hmm and I had a very special experience with that first time, but it can be placebo effect, so I need really much more people into the trials. And here we come back to Breivik, because I was trying to explain him that, okay, what you are doing is pretty funny. You are luring people who doesn't understand things about biology, about science, about medicine into your experiments. Like, why not to do it the right way? It's not about making